Welcome to Warjack's Games Club podcast, Season 2, Episode 5. I'm Brandon here with Shaun and Dylan from Underwhelming Upkeep. Welcome to the channel,
Right.
and welcome to your channel. First time crossing over.
What up?
Hopefully, one of many when it comes to all the random bullshit that's going on with this game.
Yeah.
Right?
All representing Florida Warmachine.
Yes.
You guys up north, me herding cats down here in central and fucking eastern and western.
Hey, you have players though, so
That is a big boost. At least you have people.
You guys are you guys are getting some soon. I know somebody recently said that they were up there, and then I know one of the guys from Tampa is actually moving up there soon. So you guys will have more, hopefully.
Oh shoot!
That would be nice.
We have a mutual. And plays 40K, who Shaun played a game with the other day, so we might be getting more here too.
Oh, good. Is he slapping the main already? Like, what other armies are there? What else can I play?
Yeah, he definitely was asking about a bunch of different armies before we hadn't even played his first game. He was asking about different armies and how they play and different stuff, and then was like building different lists and all kinds of stuff.
Tell him don't play circle. He'll be fine.
No, he'll be looking at new stuff. I'm pretty sure he was playing Orgoth with Shaun.
Nice.
But Shaun dropped a wyvern on him in 50 points.
Okay, like it was balanced.
Why would you do that?
We weren't like playing. We were just learning the game. It wasn't like I was trying to like kill him turn 2 or something. It was just a low model count.
Trying to kill him turn 2, says the man who
killed everybody.
Did Dylan just die? What happened to Dylan?
Oh, he left us.
I might have, yeah.
Oh,
can you guys? No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
He's back. Yeah, he just randomly cut off. It was dead silent all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what the fuck causes that. Yay!
But no, it was chill. Right. He had fun. No. We just kind of like learned the game and stuff like that. Like we were just going step by step. It wasn't like anything super competitive.
Yeah, I felt bad. When I was teaching Panda the game, Panda made the mistake of putting their Warcaster just out in front, and I was playing Kishtar. So I just was going to ricochet off the Warcaster and kill a solo behind just to teach him and scare him a little bit, and ended up high spiking the Warcaster and just killed him.
Oh, shoot.
I felt so bad. I was like, this is supposed to be a teaching game. I didn't mean to roll fucking boxcars.
Sometimes you gotta teach people that though.
Yeah, everybody's got to get the fear god put in them.
We made a mistake with another friend of ours. Like we overloaded him on every rule in the game. So
yeah, I think Brandon and I just got too hyped about potentially somebody else that's in our gaming group joining. We went probably too ham and just blobbed out everything there is about the game, and I think it was probably a little overwhelming.
It did, definitely. You can do that to people. It's one of those things. It's most of the time I'm teach people how to move, teach people how to punch, get a game in like that, and then from there just build up. And most people will learn better that way. Speaking of learning, how much learning do you think people are going to have to do with this new balance update? Segue. We're back on track, guys.
The 2025 balance update, you mean?
Yeah, the 2025 balance update.
Say what?
Yes. Set to come out January 22nd, except it's not now.
Yup. Huge shout out.
Very, very first thing. Apparently, they heard everybody complaining, and it's even us. Some of us were talking about how this screws over events because there's LVO, there's Captain Con, and they were just getting dumpstered by this.
Yeah, it's literally a lose-lose. So LVO originally, you're just playing on an old format that's about to change days after, so it's kind of who cares? And then you have Captain Con, who literally comes out less than a week before your event happens, and it's cool. No one's played any of this stuff or has any idea other than your playtesters who already know everything. So it's just it's just bad all around. But I think this is.
I've got a weird take on this. I personally would rather them say moving forward, since this is Steamforged Games, I personally would rather them say, hey, from this moment on, we will always drop the balance update on the last week in January. And this way, LVO, like this LVO would suck. But moving forward, every LVO would be, because LVO is probably one of the biggest tournaments there is in terms of like bragging rights besides Worlds, right? So if LVO is going to be people who have stuck with a format throughout the entire year, they're polished, they know what's going on, they can walk into it with an actual clear understanding of what's good, what's not, and it will boil down more to skill. Then, hey man, they made all these changes and I just found this one thing that's really jank that no one's caught and I'm going to run that and that person sweeps it. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but you have a higher chance of that with a patch so close to a major event. But that would require them to set that expectation and stick to it moving forward. But I think this was probably a better call because it makes everybody's gaming experience better. And then if they were going to do something like that, they would do it for next year. This way we have a year to sit on it.
Even if it's not the right call, like just the fact that you listened to the community and what they wanted and made a change is like more than enough. Like it's obvious, it's never going to be perfect. You can't make everyone happy, but like the fact that they released the news and then within 24 hours, like heard all the community's feedback and then made a change is great in and of itself.
Yeah, it's the fact that they're not going to Games Workshop it is the easiest way to put it, because GW is from fucking well known for doing a change, everybody hates it, and then them just going, huh, what? I couldn't hear you over all this money.
Couldn't hear you.
I will say I wish, and I don't know what they're gonna do going forward, but maybe last year they did, and I don't remember it. I wish there was more than the January balance update.
Yeah,
like a quarterly one,
things,
or even like 2 a year. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, bi-yearly could be good.
Even if it was just small things, like I'd be fine with like hot fixes if you were willing to do them. But like, say something comes out, like we were talking about it earlier, as far as like Pig goes. Like Pig probably shouldn't have been out this long without changing potentially. Like, be willing to make those changes is all I'd ask for. But like, all right, let's not complain before we even get into what
That's true.
Have changed. So core rule changes. I think this first one's fantastic. Disengaging section.
A model in a unit that was engaged prior to being placed as a result of its unit's charge never makes a charge attack and therefore forfeits its combat action and that activation unless it is placed within melee range of all models that were previously engaged in it. Now,
love it.
This came up at Crucible, and it was always this way, but it wasn't worded this way. Like, if I remember right, the only reason why we know this ruling at Crucible was because of an Infernal. Like, this is the way the game has always worked. They just clearly put it in the goddamn rules.
I believe that was my question, right?
Yeah. At one point at Crucible, I think we were talking about it beforehand, and then you jokingly said this won't come up. And I'm like, well, I'm glad to know it. And it fucking came up twice. And I was like, oh, well, glad I know this ruling.
Now you know.
Yeah, that one is great. I like the fact that they clearly laid it out, so hopefully I don't have multiple judge calls for it.
Agreed. Racking spell section. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what this changed from.
A Warcaster cannot rock spells it already has.
Was that
That's I think the addition.
An issue before?
I don't think so.
Who takes a double spell? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
I don't think anybody should. Maybe it could be confusing based on the fact that, like, if, like, let's say you could take double redline. I don't know if you could. I'm just using this as an example, right? And the rules say you can only cast a spell once. Well, if you have 2 copies of redline, you could be that guy and argue, well, I can cast both redlines. I see what
you're saying. You could have both instances of the spell up or something. Maybe.
Even though they're technically considered continuous and you can't have double continuous. So I'm just saying you could have that guy situation. So I think they just clarified it. You can't rack a spell you already have, just to prevent that shenanigans.
In Storm Legion, Jackhammer's on the spell rack, and Sparkhammer has Jackhammer too.
Yeah, but so I guess I get from like the upkeep standpoint if you're saying somebody wanted to try to have both of them out. But like, who cares if you have 2 Sparkhammers? Like,
or 2 Jackhammers?
Yeah. Like, who cares? You're just gonna pick one to cast? Like, I don't know. Makes no sense. It's probably just a clarity thing.
Yeah, and it like just prevents you from screwing yourself. Maybe I don't
Same
Yeah,
thing with
that's true.
spellcaster action. To be honest, like I don't know exactly what it is that changed on this, but this seems pretty straightforward. Like this is pretty much what it was it
Some
not?
warlocks have the option. Some warlocks. Why is warcaster and warlocks? Racking warlock can rack or describe a spell card you can choose to rack any spell available to your warlock's army. A warlock cannot rack a spell it already has. Racking spells take place at the start of the game when both players are revealing their. It's probably the last area. Racking spells takes place at the start of the game with both players revealing their spell selection simultaneously. I think they're just clarifying order of operations. When does this happen?
Sure.
Once racked, a warlock spells cannot be changed during the game. So
Yeah.
that's probably all it is just cleaning up rules. And
Probably a wording thing. 'Cause, I mean, I've never played a game that didn't go this way to begin with, so probably straightforward. Now,
So-
rage fuel changed.
it changed for the better. Do you know why this changed?
Rage fuel is fantastic now.
No,
Well-
it changed in one very simple way. The previous version of Rage Fueled, it was mandatory. So what would happen is Dusk Jacks would walk up to the Orgoth 120 millimeter Gargleghast motherfucker and punch it, and it would rage fuel and mandatorily give itself a focus, which the Jack would then leech off to buy an attack to fucking punch it again. And then it would regenerate the rage, and the Jack would fucking leech it and punch it again.
We
A
just
light
kill the
Warjack
Gargleghast.
could infinitely combo the Gargleghast down, or whatever the fuck it's called. And
That's
now
funny.
that by putting can gain one focus point, you can choose not to,
Right.
which interrupts the infinite combo.
Makes sense.
That's all this is.
I would say, what's his name? Orion 2 in Convergence, like, gives you boosted damage rolls against stuff with, or maybe it's
Focus.
hit rolls. Yeah. So that's another thing you might just not want to give. Yeah.
I think can is a good addition to a lot of things. Like, give me the choice of stuff. Like, I hate stuff that just automatically has to happen.
Yeah, it's just that one little word gives you so much flexibility in what you can do. So it's
Right.
a good change. Dust Devil section. Change the text of the second paragraph to the following. When a model within the area of this terrain feature is targeted by a ranged attack against +2 defense, when a model within the area takes a ranged attack, it suffers. Oh, I mean, they just made Dust Devils better.
So,
Making people use what's it called, like different terrains, is always good.
so this
Yeah.
talks
Or letting
about making
people-
the attack out suffers -3 range. Wasn't it both directions before? Is that the change, or am I tripping?
I think so. To be honest, I think I've only used Dust Devils like twice, and nobody ever stood in them. They just avoided them as if they're
Right.
quick.
I would agree. Like, I thought before it was like -3 range in and out. Like, this is just purely -3 range out now, and now you get the def with it coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Seems okay, but I agree with you. Like, they don't seem to be like super relevant or come up very much. Most people just avoid them. But armies, Bross's
like, I
Storm
think-
Legion.
The worst thing that Dust Devils ever did to me. Yeah, I was gonna say that before Moon. The worst thing a Dust Devil ever did to me, because doesn't it also give flyers rough terrain? I remember it fucking over my Orgoth birds, and I was just like, oh, well, this
Something-
sucks.
Something does.
Completely screwed up a charge.
I don't
But
know if
they
that's
give
Dust
Dust Devils.
Devil. I think it's there's something you can put on to give. I can't remember what it is.
I get you. Yeah, I just remember sometimes every now and then you get weird fucking terrain effects. All right, let's do Storm Legion. This is Brandon's baby.
This is Brandon's
Yes.
baby. Take us through the highlights.
The highlights. So to start with, Chain Lightning is Sentry now on the rack, which is really cool. I don't know if people care about Chain Lightning, but Sentry's really good. That's the one where I think is it at the start of your turn that you can take a shot with a Warjack if they're in range.
I think so. I'd have to look it up, but I think that sounds right.
Yeah, so it's something to that effect. You gain rapid fire. Yeah, you can make one basic range attack during your maintenance phase, which is a very Signar ability. It's on the character Jack for what's his name in OG Signar, and then Electrify added Repulsor Field, I believe. So, and you can put it on a model and unit. I think you can only put it on a Warjack before.
Repulsor Field's so good.
Yeah.
It kind of like being able to put it on a unit to give it +2 to damage rolls, and like if you hit one of them, you get pushed back is kind of wild, right?
Yeah, that seems really
I thought
strong.
wasn't Repulsor Field the one where like constructs couldn't charge you?
Oh, that could be what it is. What am I thinking
Oh,
of?
I thought it was the one that you got pushed away when you hit them.
I don't remember. That's why I was asking because
That's
it's Repulsor Field to me. It's like my brain wants to say it's the constructs one, but I could be wrong. I don't fuck with
yeah, no,
Repulsor
it's
Field.
if you get attacked, push 1 inch directly away.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really good.
So it makes our like little cheap units like punch up, and they're hard to kill with like a warjack.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to get base to base with them. Like most stuff's gonna have 1 inch melee. Like if you don't get base to base, like you hit them once and you're just gonna get shoved away. Seems really
Yeah.
good.
Oh, so I guess it always added repulsor field. My bad, but you can now put it on a unit. That's the big change.
It's pretty solid.
okay,
Yeah, it
that
used to
sounds
only
good.
go on warjacks.
It seems
So
like they did
in
a lot of stuff that they were originally like limiting because they didn't want it to get too busted, and they're starting to like loosen up on the chokehold on it. Like we're gonna see that with a couple other models, especially once we get into Dusk. The Warcaster change on what's his name is disgusting in my opinion. But that's later.
yeah, so for the casters in Storm Legion, Athena just swapped Hallowed Avenger with Avenging Force, which is like really similar ability, except you get to make an attack at the start of your turn if something got damaged within probably 5 inches is my guess. That's what Hallowed Avenger is. Could be more. And then Calder, that feat changed to, which is great because like she was kind of the Warjack caster, but now her feat gives +2 defense to everything. And the Jacks still get the additional dodge and riposte.
Well, not everything. Friendly faction models.
Friendly faction.
Your
We're
Kruger
not
doesn't get +2 defense here.
we're not playing those. Well, we play Kruger, but we're not playing Pig and stuff as much. But they're too expensive.
You're not playing balloons? No, I'm kidding.
Not
Come on.
playing balloons.
Adalgert gained dodge and riposte still. That's still good. That's really good.
I do think it used to be +3 defense though, for what it's worth. Huxley though,
A lot of things got nerfed when it comes to like how much defense and armor and shit they provide. It feels like. All right, continue with Huxley. I'm sorry.
I think Huxley got like huge overhaul because both of his field marshals were kind of trash. Iron Horse is really insane, like giving Pathfinder and Repo 5 to your jacks, and then your light and heavy warjacks get +2 speed on charges.
That's disgusting.
Repo 5?
Yeah, man.
Repo 5 is gross.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Skystormer's the like you're getting in, you're faster, and then Ground Assault he goes slower, but gains resourceful, so we're upkeeping our spells for free, right?
Jeez, and you get 5-inch charges? Essentially, effectively?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's really good. Now, what I will say is Iron Horse used to also say that they counted as cavalry, but they don't do that anymore.
Just casually getting some
Good.
boosted attack.
Yeah, boosted
too,
attack roll is probably too good.
Holy cow. Okay.
But then when you're on the ground, Pathfinder replace that with steady and sturdy. So that's like we're like locking in and holding stuff down. But I just don't know you're ever gonna go ground assault, to be honest. Even though his gun's better in ground assault.
Maybe.
I mean, if you're going against an army with like tons of knockdown, I could see you going ground assault if you're about to get rolled up on. Like you don't want to get knocked down.
Or pushed away
especially
with Khador or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So
not just Khador. Like the double open hands. Like if he gets in melee, I think ground assault's probably the better call because of the fact that it will make it so that you don't get, collateral or knockdown.
Right.
So Huxley, huge changes playable now. Courser, small change. The melee weapon on the storm thrower is down to about 10. The Legionnaire officer changing the Repo 3 order to Grievous Wounds. That's what Deathly Strike is kind of that solo is already like auto include in every Storm Legion list, but now you just have a Grievous Wounds.
Well,
good.
we're jumping ahead for this, but in the rules change, they completely tweaked and reworked command cards. One of the things that they did is they completely got rid of the Grievous Wounds card. So I was talking about this with some of the individuals in Discord. You're going to see a lot of things gain Grievous Wounds that didn't have it previously. It's not that they're shitting on tough; it's that they took an Omni tough answer out of the game, and they needed to reintroduce sources into the game, and this is how they're doing it. So we're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah, we're here for that. That model's already busted, in my opinion. Must have.
But now you're fighting what you wanted it to do previously with do you give out anti-tough?
Right. The previous is very good too because his other options are the 10-inch tactician for your whole army.
Which is always amazing.
Yeah. So the other, and then the other one, you can give Pathfinder to a unit, but I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Grievous Wounds. But Brisbane went up to Def 14 +1 defense. Wolf cutting lightning tendrils for a third rack option.
Don't hate that.
Like it?
Yeah. That's kind of wild. Like, I mean, putting Electro Leap on your unit is cool, but being able to just take 3 different spells is super sick.
Yeah.
Sharpshooter getting marksman and headshot, so you can choose the column on the warjack, and headshot is removed from play when you kill anti-tough, I believe.
Yeah, I think they just pushed him a little bit more because they just weren't really seeing as much play as you would think.
Yep.
So
Tyson Vass, everyone that has strafing run no longer gives an additional die on the attack roll. So they're just damage roll now for strafing run.
yeah, it was like last year, then the last data slate, they nerfed one of the abilities that a bunch of people had, and it just hit a bunch of classic stuff too. I remember it hitting Dougal McNeil because it used to deal with like AoE shots and stuff, something like that. And it's the same thing here because he has it, the balloons have it, a couple other things have it, and they all got the same change.
The Stormcallers got a small damage nerf on their one damage lower on the Vortex and 2 on the Lightning Rod, except now the Vortex ignores elevation along with concealment, cover, and stealth. So
Most people are still using 2D terrain. When the fuck does elevation ever actually come up? I mean, I'm glad that they're thinking for the future, but nobody uses that shit.
some people use hills, but it's like I don't feel like you don't see them a lot. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm here for the POW going down.
Stormbanes, I think, changed to friendly faction. I think that was the change to this one because they basically give you the windstorm effect within 2 inches. So
Veins are the little fucking 5G dish guys, right?
yep. The whole like you can kind of spread them out and give windstorm within 2 inches, which is sweet. Striker got quite a few changes. The arcane precision head I think is kind of trash. So I like the true sight change. Arcane precision you had to stand still to use it. Stormblazer cannon got a little bit cheaper. I think it also does a little bit less damage, but has lightning generator, which is D3 electro leaps.
Good.
That's disgusting.
Pretty good. Nobody used the gun. Maybe they will now. It's cheaper. The fist got one more expensive, but it's POW 16 instead of POW 14 and has beatback. Tempest to Sailors. Huge chain. They're really good in my opinion. Like the Sailors and the Thunderers both going to 8 boxes because they were 5 boxes before. Their point cost did go up 1. Hammers POW 15 instead of 14. And then the Thunderers, I'm assuming they're at 6, and putting brutal charge on the blade is also sweet. So I think they're like something crazy, like armor high as well. 8.
Black 13 hasn't been even out for like 2-3 months, not even, and it's already got nerfed.
No, it's not a nerf. It is a you can choose the center of the cloud. So before it was a must.
Okay.
It was a must.
Funny. I just thought it was funny. Like, hey, here's Black.
Yeah.
And we were already changing them.
No, kind of a buff, I guess, if you don't want a cloud out there. The Zephyr went up 2 points, but it went up, I think, 4 boxes or 2 boxes. Could be 3 boxes. And then added Carapace, which is wild. Plus 4 armor against shooting. And then Plasma Nimbus is you take a POW 10 if you hit me. and they added a horse attack with a
Makes
crit
sense.
knockdown.
Did it have a melee attack before or no?
It still has another one. It's the spears that they throw.
Okay, good.
Trampling hooves is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I'm just yeah,
Yep.
just more attacks are always great.
Yeah, both of its weapons have friggin' disruption on them too. So
Good.
Do you like focus? Not anymore. Get
yeah.
fucked.
No.
So I think Storm Legion changes were pretty good. I already thought they were good, but I guess maybe they weren't. I guess Kane was holding up the pack. But
Great.
that's Storm Legion.
Crix, God, I haven't even touched Crix. I like a part of me wants to. I'm debating on buying the army later on once everything's been released, just saving up a bunch of cash and then just dropping full FA. But I don't know. Like I'm on the fence. I want a Fury army, a good Fury army to come out that I like. Something that aesthetically jives with. But let's start with Master Necrosurgeon Sepsiria. Graveyard Shift Feet. Replace the text of the second sentence with the following. Place each model completely within. Is she the one that craps out the extra unit of thralls? I think
She
she is.
does. Yep.
Mhm.
So now there's a limitation of how far out you can place them. I think previously, wasn't it like in her control range? So they definitely nerfed that, but I think that's a good nerf. Like that's balanced in
So
terms of what you
it
do.
was within 3 inches. So I guess you just gained
They
I
just
guess
nerfed it by an
you
inch.
lost an inch, which is whatever, I
Yeah.
guess.
I don't think it matters at that point. The Raptors, the Beaked Mallhead replaced Reposition 2 with Reposition 3. They're doing a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Doomspitterhead gains Eyeless Sight. Not bad, not bad. And then the Light Spiker gain Critical Corrosion, Damage type Corrosion. So they're just giving them extra damage options. No points increase at all with that, which is pretty interesting. I guess they thought Raptors were a little weak and just gave them a little bit of, a nudge up. And then we have the Furies. Condensed stat profile from 3 to 1 that is shared between all three models in the unit. I've heard people complaining about this because they went from 3 spellcasts a turn down to 1. That one was a supposed nerf. Cut Battle Wizard and Wailing added Mortal Fear. And standardized their spells as this. They cut different ones, added Grip of Shadows.
Mortal
So
Fear on the unit?
It
yeah.
was just on like one of them prior, right?
Oh,
I think
okay, it might have been. That makes sense. You're
I think-
putting everything onto one.
Yeah.
But you could spread it out within 3 models, right? That's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
Pretty short changes
Wait,
for Crix.
If they condense the strat profiles from all 3 to 1, the person that was complaining about this was like, yeah, you only get 1 spellcast. That's not how I think that works. I think it's just you have 1 profile for all 3, but each of them activates individually. So you still get 3 spellcasts.
Yeah,
they just
still
standardized
activate
it.
separately. Correct. They just don't
Yeah.
all have different stat profiles now.
Okay.
I
think
feel like we
it's
have to
okay.
see the card. I don't know how it works.
Well, yeah, we'll have to wait until they actually show it, but I'm pretty sure it'll go that way. So we got Dusk. Do either of you guys own Dusk? Did either of you buy into the
Nope.
big bad boogeyman?
Hey, I got it, but they're not assembled.
Got it. Nope, we're not.
I mean,
Duskers.
I do actually have like a Dusk army, but it's not my crazy normal full FA. I just never touched them because everybody was like riding Dusk, and I just didn't want to be that guy. So let's see, Dreadguard Cavalry. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, the point cost went to 11, but the Great Sword went from 2-inch to 1. So, or the Dreadguard Cavalry. So the kitties got nerfed. Everybody was saying that was going to happen, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad it did because fuck those things.
Sheesh.
Dang.
Dang. They did go
Dude,
down in points though. They were 12.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense. Dreadguard Slayers, point cost 8. I think they went up when I was looking at them last, and then they get Vengeance added to them, which is nice. Like, Vengeance is a good include on them. Then we have the Eidolon, the worst jack in the army, and with the most changes, and it's still not good.
Full overhaul.
Dang it. It's still
So
not good?
they changed Future Sight Head to a head that grants True Sight. Cool. No points change, same thing. Force Cannon gains Pistol. Cool. Vortex Cannon gains Pistol. Cool. If I remember right, their rat is shit, so it's still something you're probably not going to hit with. I mean, you're still going to roll it because you never leave an attack on the field, but okay. The
Rat's
Force
6.
Shield. Yeah, but nothing in that army except for like the archers has a good rat, if I remember right. Like everything
Coming from
kind of
someone that
sucks.
plays Khador at Rat 5, like Rat
6
six
nothing
ain't that
good?
bad.
If you're playing Khador and you're not on Baranova, then go ahead complain about your ad, but Baranova don't care.
It's true.
The force shield went up in points. I remember it was a 4, it went up to 5.
Mhm.
Which sucks because now you've just made the survivability of this thing even more expensive. The blades, both of them got rid of critical dispel and have been given blessed because they just wanted them to be able to touch more stuff according to the tried and true thing. If nobody watched that, Force Fist costs 6, range attack becomes range 12, POW 13, gains beatback, melee attacks become POW 14 and gains beatback. I don't think anybody used the Force Fist anyways. So it's an interesting. The best thing it gained was pistol on its range shots. Everything else is just kind of there. You
Did
know
they
what I
get
mean?
rid of the blessed card, or is it still there?
I don't remember if that one got rid of. They might have gotten rid of it, which is why they're putting it on a bunch of stuff. The Ghast repossession head becomes cost 2, replace repo 2 with repo 3. They did a lot of that.
Mhm.
And then we have Hazaroth, which I love his changes. Change the text of the first sentence to the following: remove all damage from friendly faction, extra large, and smaller base models in his control range. That used to be battle group only. So he
Hmm.
now heals everything in his control range.
Good.
That seems
Your
dope.
fucking your void engines, your little dudes. You're gonna want to take him with like all the Dreadguard, even more
Mhm.
so now, because they're 8 boxes, and he can just be like, "Hey, now you're all healed. Get in there, fuck shit up."
Yeah. And he has grievous wounds now, I guess. Is this
Mm-hmm.
their grievous wound solution?
I think they have more, but this is one of them. Because Deathly Domination very rarely came up, so like, fuck it, we'll just give him Grievous Wounds. If he
Mhm.
kills something, we want it dead. And he does hit
Cool.
like a goddamn truck, so he became a lot better. He went from being their Jack-centric caster to being their elite warrior caster,
Infantry.
and I kind
Yeah.
of like that. Yeah. Well, the infantry would be like if you take a Void Engine list, because you're taking the soulless assholes because they're 1/8 hit point. That to
We
me is infantry spam.
we do heal the void engine too.
Yeah, you heal everything. 80 mil and below. Friendly faction, but still. Then we have Halith. Blessing of the Void Feet. Change the text of the first sentence to, well, in Halith's control range, enemy models suffer -2 defense and armor, and friendly faction warriors gain +2 defense and armor. To me, she feels like your baby's first caster. Like, if you're learning the game, she might be a good one because that's a decent survivability feat. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not super impressed with it.
So they nerfed it, I guess. They made a friendly faction.
Yeah, if it was everything previously, that makes sense because Big Pig
Yeah.
under that would be. I was
That's
never
pretty
really.
good, right? +2 arm on pig.
Yeah, and defense.
That sounds all
Oh
right.
wait, his defense is ass. Never mind. Um, Izzy got touched. Needed to. Blades went from 3 inches to 2. Death Whisper went from, I think it was spray 14
Wow.
before,
Was
wasn't
it
it?
14? I was gonna say it was a 12.
No,
I
I
can
want to
tell
say
you
it's
it was
spray.
4. It was 12. It was 12.
It was 12. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's something else that was like big that they not. Oh, it's the fucking cannons. We'll get to those. But Izzy stayed the same price, which is interesting because most character jacks, like General didn't, but the rest of them, I think Moloch and Medista, they all went down in points. Izzy stayed the same. So did General.
It's really good though.
Yeah,
Still,
that's
I
because they
feel like.
sucked and no one was playing them. Like I don't think
Yeah,
these two needed to change. So
they those two were good. So people they didn't get fucking touched. Um, Now we have Skyrafel. You know
Mm.
the big bad
She wasn't even
fucking
good.
Metacast.
sheesh.
Into the right
No, I'm
lists.
joking. She was
She was
obviously really good.
disgusting. See, when we were at Captain Con last year, and I played against her, which was funny because it was your third man in your team. I didn't even know what she did, and I dropped Hurusk, which is just a direct fucking counter to her. And she popped feet, and I was like, "Cool, I'll pop feet and walk in and not give a shit."
Yeah.
And it was like, "Oh, well, I guess I won." And everyone's like, "She's so hard to play against." And I'm like, "No, she's not." Every time I played, and I did play her a couple times after that, but I always beat her because I was dropping Hurusk.
Yeah.
But no, she was disgusting. She needed to get hit. Um, but now she's the Jack caster. So she has Field Marshal Future Sight. So you can boost after all
Mhm.
of your attack and damage rolls with your fucking Jacks and her. And then they replaced Doomsayer with and Telekinesis with Gravewind and Rhythm of War. And with the feat, they nerfed it, and they got rid of, I think, the knockdown.
It got rid of the
So,
knockdown. Gravewind is +2 defense and poltergeist on a model.
yeah. So she's one of those that if you get into her, she just can kind of dance away. So they increased her survivability and made her more of a mobile caster, but not as mobile with telekinesis because telekinesis was fucking gross. But yeah, I I'm actually okay with her changes. When the Colossal comes out, I will probably play her with the Colossal. That thing and her would be disgusting because if it gets on anything, it's dead.
I don't
You
even
can
remember
boost.
the Colossal now. The
It
Future
was
Sight's
in
got to be really good on it. I don't care what
yeah
it does.
Future Sight's good on
on anything.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I boost after the fact? Sure. Let me just get in here and put boot in ass.
We played enough Mullet Karn.
Right. Seeker Adepts Exorcism. Change the text to the following: range 1 target friendly faction cohort model. If the cohort model is in range, enemy upkeep spells and anime on it immediately expire. Gain spell ward for 1 round. Cannot be targeted. Okay, so they just added spell protection.
Oh,
I don't hate it.
okay.
Seems fine.
Soulless Hunters. This change I wasn't super big a fan of because they cut combined ranged and they added concentrated, which I'm not gonna lie on the hunters. I really liked using combined ranged.
I like combined
And,
range.
Yeah.
and then Tyrus, Invocations of Shadowfeet. Change the text of the first 2 sentences to the following: immediate place Tyrus and friendly faction models currently in his control range anywhere completely within 2 inches of their current location. Additionally, Tyrus and friendly faction model units activating in his control range gain Ghostly. I think they added friendly faction model because if I remember right, somebody
Probably.
did this to me with like Big Pig, and it was fucking gross.
Sounds good.
Does sound good.
Yeah, it was just friendly models.
Yeah. So you could do absolutely everything. We have Miss Hand of Mourning. Change the text of the first sentence to once per turn when another friendly living faction non-leader warrior model within 10 inches of this model is hit by an enemy attack. This model can suffer D3 damage points to use Threads of Life. So I think that was just cleaning up the rules because she could just take hits because this is the one that wants to die to turn into the ghost. So I think they just cleared up that. Avenging Spirit becomes armor 12. That's the ghost. Touch of the Grave becomes POW 12. So just some fixes. Probably a little bit of nerfing there, but nothing too crazy. Void Engine. I don't know if it went up or down. Point cost 8 though.
It was
Seems pretty good.
7. It was
Went
7.
up
Yeah,
one.
so it went up. Yeah, a Void Engine's still good. If you're taking a Void Engine, unless you don't care, you're still going to take it. 1 point is not going to fucking deter you.
Mm-hmm.
Void Shaper, point cost 2. What was it before?
3.
3? Because
Oh,
Dusk
it's
had really
4.
weird.
Holy
It was
cow. It's
4.
4.
So they halved it. Well, I was about to say one of the issues Dusk's list building had was how expensive everything was. Like they didn't have a lot of cheap options for solos. Like I would have killed for a 1 or 2 point in some of my lists. So Void Shaper going to 2 is amazing. The damage box is reduced to 5. Okay, so it also did have 8 at one point, so they nerfed its
It has
HP.
8. Yep.
Rat 6, Shadow Matrix becomes POW 10, and then they cut Shadowbind. That's rough, man. Cutting Shadowbind really does nerf that model from what it did. Because at 4 points with Shadowbind, it was a lot better.
The
Yeah.
2-point Shadowbind, those probably
Yeah, I was
busted.
gonna say you cut the cost in half,
Yeah.
but it has to lose something.
Yeah, I get that. But they didn't need to touch that way. I think they probably could have put something else as a cheaper slot option instead of messing with the Void Shaper, but it is what it is. Now it's just going to be one of those tack-on things that you throw in when you have extra points. And at that point, I don't even know if it really. I guess
It
it has
feels
that
like
ability to
as
give
if
constructs reroll.
I say it feels like it is there to like run your jacks because it has ancillary attack.
Yeah.
It has reroll, like you said, it has tune up. So like kind of just made it a 2-point buff your jack.
And what's
Solo.
funny about it is the reroll is on constructs, not just jacks. So you can actually throw that shit on a Void Engine. And I used to do that, and it was
Oh, that's
fucking
dope.
Yeah,
hysterical.
that's cool.
People didn't see that shit coming. You're just like, wait, you can reroll? Wait, I thought that was for jacks? No,
Yeah,
no, it's
you're
for
right.
everything.
Construct.
Get fucked. Rights, Void Strike becomes range 1, so they nerfed the ghosties.
Yeah, they are like little Void Archons, to be fair. So
They needed it. Like well, actually, I don't even know if they needed it. A good player could manage ghosts. Like if you knew what you were doing, or you had your magic in the right area, if you could force your opponent. to crap out ghosts where you wanted it to be, you could manage them and they weren't that big of a deal. But it probably needed to happen anyways. Void Strike becoming range 1 makes sense.
Now we get the real changes. Khador, back to domination. So, superiority changed from their rack. Basically just changed to extra large base now. They're keeping Mastodon from being able to get superiority on him. Kind of sucks. Brandon's felt that one before. I think it's pretty good. I can understand the change. I think it's a way to kind of nerf Mastodon as well without having to massively nerf Mastodon itself. So I think it's an okay change. Sucks because I enjoyed using it, but makes sense. The rest of it's the same.
I did too. The superiority on Mastodon was gross.
Yes, so good. Mechanic, Arm 16, just added tune-up. Cheap little 2-point model. Direwolf. So Direwolf changed a lot. I think the cheapest Direwolf now is 10, if I believe. I was playing around with it the other day in the app looking at stuff. Mostly because Scrap Saw went to cost 5. That was the cheapest option. Prior.
Was it 3 previously?
Yeah, and the POW went up substantially to 17, so like it's like a real option now. But like they just got rid of like the cheap Direwolf that you could take, which I don't know is what it is. Ice Hammer becomes cost 5, Scrap Saw becomes 5, but gets POW 17, and then the Long Axe gains Grievous Wounds, which fits into our talk that we've had throughout the whole time about adding Grievous Wounds to places. Great Bear gets the head replaced. Repo 2 go to Repo 3. We've seen that several times across the board. The range nerfs, I think, hit Khador quite a bit. Heavy Cannon went from 15 down to 12. So that was the big POW 16 momentum gun from Great Bear. So it loses 3 inches.
This is the thing I hate the fucking most, is this heavy cannon change. I know they did it also mainly because of Mastodon. Like, the Great Bear's paying for the Mastodon sins. Because when I played Khador, my favorite thing to do was slam bears. You take the slam head, and then you would take your heavy cannon, and then you would take a great axe. And you would just shoot motherfuckers from 15 inches away, and when you slam them with the fucking momentum of the cannon, the Great Bear advanced whatever the slam was off the fucking cannon. So they essentially nerfed its ability to move by 3 inches by also nerfing the range on the heavy cannon. So this is my biggest hatred of the change. But
I dislike it only from the fact that I don't think Khador was great. So I understand a lot of people have talked about like they've lowered ranges across the board, like ranges for shooting, like threat ranges and melee. Like they've kind of lowered all of that. So like I get it and I'm fine with that. But I don't feel like anything else like came up, and it's not like Khador was good with these massive range 15 guns. So it's like I feel like you just nerfed him, and like nothing else got better to like help. We weren't winning with it. It's not like we were too good. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the deep freezer is the next thing, and that did go up in range. I believe it was 12, so it went up to range 14. But I mean, fuck that. Like, who cares? Like,
it's less damage. It doesn't have momentum.
We're not freezing.
It doesn't have the momentum on there. POW's less as well. It is AoE, but it also went up in cost, so it's cost 8, so they're equal on there as well now. It is what it is. ECAT got resistance cold. Storm of the Ages changed. I believe the only thing that changed on here is the attack stuff was -2 range. I believe it was -4 prior, if I'm not mistaken. So it just cut the range in half of the boost that you get. The rest of it stays the same. I think it's fine.
Wait, back to the deep freezer. Didn't the original deep freezer give like crit stationary or something like that?
I have it.
So I think it does have something with
stationary. It's for free.
Yeah, it still does. It just gains resistance cold now.
Gotcha. Well, no, the reason I bring that up is a little bit later when we get to the controller.
Yeah, I think that's irrelevant in my opinion. But yes, I see what you're saying. So ECAT, I think it is the same that's on here. Old Capitan, Arcane Precision, okay, I guess. Gains Veil of Mist, replaces Unnatural Darkness with Veil of Mists. I don't know.
So he can give himself, because you had to take Veil of Mist on him anyways, in most places, because he has the ability whenever he has concealment, he has stealth.
Right.
So most of the time you were wasting a rack slot anyways for Veil of Mist. Now, Unnatural Darkness, it's like, okay, most of the time I never cast that spell anyways. I'm going to take Veil to enable stealth. Who gives a shit?
And this like probably harkens spell rack. slot.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to the spell rack slots, remember how they changed the rule that says you can't rack it twice? Well, Veil of Mist, I think, is still on their rack, so yeah, this is probably why. They didn't want you to rack Veil of Mists while you have Veil of Mists.
I still don't see how anyone thinks that means now you're casting Veil of Mist twice, but I get like wanting to like not even make it an option and taking it out of there. His Howl of the Wolf change, I don't know what the change is on this one, to be honest. I don't really know what he did before. Did you ever play him?
I think they all get boosted attack rolls. Is that what it is?
Is that what changed?
Models in his
Or
battle group gain boosted attack rolls. When a model in his destroys or removes from play one or more enemy models with an attack while in his control range as resolved, one of the model can immediately advance up to 2 inches and make one basic attack. Yeah, I think it's just boosted because the other part was
boosted
previously.
before, though, I thought.
Was it?
I don't remember any of this being changed. Like it's gotta be some slight change.
So he just gives the models in your battle group boosted rolls. Before it was just the feat shots that were boosted.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So yeah, now it's whenever you did the feat and you got the extra, those were boosted. But now during this turn, everything's boosted. That's in his battle group.
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
Big
Okay.
good.
Yeah. I think they're just taking his design and they're just honing it in. Which, by the way, do you have your limited edition worlds,
No.
Boris?
Did you buy that, Boris?
No.
I sure did. It's ugly as fuck, but I still bought one because I had to have it.
Yeah, no, we ain't buying that. Commander goes to AT6, Arc 7, cool. Valerie, checkmate. So it's just changed from.
It lost blessed.
Get magical and blessed. I think is what it currently has, and it dropped that. I mean, it sucks. It's definitely a nerf,
anyway.
but
He's
yeah,
busted. So
definitely a nerf. But I think it's still fine. Controller getting shatter.
For that anyways.
As you were referring to earlier, so now it's Rat 6, gain Jack Marshall, and drive Shatter. So within 10 inches, melee weapons on War Jackson's control gain Shatter, which is just additional damage against stationary models. Maybe. I mean, I get maybe pushing the deep freezers and then using controllers off of Shatter. I think know that it's...
What it does is it actually gives Khador something that they didn't have previously that well. It gives you the ability, because Khador, up until now, you've had to deploy very centralistic and spread out to wherever your opponent's threatening you the most. Now you can kind of deploy to one side kind of heavy and throw a controller and a Great Bear off to the other side, and it actually be somewhat effective. Like, it's not going to be as good, but I mean, it still gains its one focus. If you want to put a fucking Arcanist crew with it to focus it up, sure, by all means. Obviously, you can't cast spells on it or do anything else, but the Shatter Wombo combo against stationary models that you've hit with a deep freeze and then go in with an axe could be fucking viable. Like, that
I feel like you're trying to play a poor
thing.
Man's pig, but
yeah, I mean, it is 100% a poor man's pig.
Like, and it's not near. It's like not even close. It's not even the poor person's pig. It's worse than the poor man's pig.
I mean, why not both? Take pig and the controller Great Bear combo. Fuck yeah.
There you go.
Wrecking Crew. It's ass. No one's gonna fucking play it, but I get what they were going for with it.
Wrecking Crew gaining grievous wounds. Cool. You get the more spread out of the grievous wounds with the card gone. McMasty, I'm okay with these changes. Like speed 5, I love. Like, it makes the superiority feel a lot less impactful. Like, like you only lose 1 speed, and like having like the standard speed 5 now, I think is good. The heavy cannon sucks. We talked about it already. Or Bear, it's the same change going to 12, and then the same change with Deep Freezer.
Mastodon is why that fucking change was made. Because it was just too oppressive, and the Great Bear got hurt for it. The Great Bear died for the Mastodon sins. That's basically what it fucking came down to. It didn't really die, but the Great Bear got hurt because of Mastodon.
So, I'm sure this is a bad take, but Mama Bear going to 0.15 and having no other changes, I think is really good. I think there's some like situations and some different things you can put on Mama Bear that makes this fantastic model, in my opinion, for 15 points. Like, as bad as it was at 17, I would never play it. At 15, I think this model could be really good.
Yeah, it's basically one of the most ultimate bodyguard units. And then they did this on her, and they did it on, I think, Moloch. But they took their specific rule off of the head slot, so if your head got disabled, you lost it, and they just applied it to the whole model.
Right, which is good.
Yeah.
It just keeps it from going away.
Mm-hmm. which is something I think her and Moloch definitely needed. But I agree. Like, just making her cheaper, see if people actually take her, see if she does good.
So I'm also curious to see. We were talking about earlier, and we didn't know about the blessed card and stuff going away because like it also has +1 armor on each weapon as well. If you throw like another armor spell up on her potentially, like she's insanely good at armor 24. And like before,
Yeah.
like the blessed card can just be a card, so at literally any point they just ignore all your different buffs and stuff that are on there. But I don't know. Also fairly fast. Like I think this is a good superiority target as well. Now, because now you go to a respectable at least. Death being 12, you're insanely fast. So you could have this with even Valerie having escort up, and then like I don't. This model can get like crazy in my opinion in certain circumstances. Seems fun.
It's an actual contender for will I possibly run this? Like previously, I would
Yeah.
just be like Mama Bear, no. Now it's like Mama Bear might actually have a use here. Especially like I could see a world where I do take a Mama Bear and a Mastodon for the Mama Bear to just fucking guard the goddamn caster
Mm.
Yeah.
because she's amazing at it. And
Yeah.
if they do get too close, Mama Bear can just like fucking get rid of them. Because Valari is amazing with the Mastodon. Because one of the things that I used to do with Valari was throw the wall behind whatever I wanted to kill, and then momentum slam gun them into the wall.
Right.
And now, but my problem is with the nerf to the range of the slam guns, and just that's going to be harder to do. And whenever I did that combo, I usually ended up putting myself in assassination range. But with Mama Bear literally protecting his ass, I think that's less likely to happen.
Yeah.
So
I have a list with him with Mastodon and Mama Bear, and then you throw up like escort on there. Like I think both these models are very good, and it still gives you plenty of points for units to go with kill order and stuff. So like I think it's really good.
I love it. Yeah.
Mortar team going to 2, dope. I think it's a pretty cool model. Yeah, so I thought it was a very cool model until Ross had to like shatter my hopes and dreams, showing me
The Dusk one.
the Dusk team they had, where it was just night and day better, but it's whatever. I still think it's a cool model, especially for 2 points. I thought it was
The Mortar
decent at
team
3.
came out before the Dusk one. The Dusk one's
Yeah.
cadre model, so they had to push it to make you want to buy it, even though
Right.
people were going to buy it for Elk Mommy more than anything else. But still,
Right. Point 2
I
though,
mean,
I'm here for it.
yeah, I would totally spam 4 of them for 8 points and just laugh and fucking indirect fire.
The arcing
Right.
part's really good.
It is really
Yeah.
good.
Laughs at I'm behind house, don't care.
Yeah.
Troop Gunners and Pikemen both just gained an armor apiece, 16 and 17 now respectively.
With no point increase, let's go.
Yeah, here for that. It's just a free point of armor. Winter Corps Infantry. So it got several changes. To cut Lone Gunman from the autocannon, add combined range attack, and then autocannon becomes rate of fire D3. And then rocket launcher becomes AoE, range 10, replaces Jackhunter with brutal damage.
Both of those are fucking gross, and I love
Yeah.
them.
Like,
So,
if you hit 3 shots, like, can you just combine it 3 times with like
no,
a regular
but-
guy?
I think you can take regular guys and use them to buff each individual shot.
That's what I meant. Like, so you could do like 3 regular guys. If you hit 3 shots, you have like 3 combined attacks.
But
Like
don't
with
you have
one
to
each, you
forfeit
mean?
the attack from the dude in order to do the combined range? So, like, let's say you have 3 regular guys and then 2 chain guns. On chain gun A, you could do your first a shot, and then guy 1 of 3 adds your combined range +1.
Mm-hmm.
Then on your second shot, guy 2 of 3
Right.
combined
Yes.
ranges to add +1, then guy 3, etc. So it's definitely a good change. I need to sit down with the rules interactions to see if it works that way. That's the way my brain thought it worked immediately, and I could be 100% wrong.
That's what
hope
I
it
would
works that
assume the
way.
point is that exactly that.
Yeah.
Would be
And it
cool.
has volume fire on that cannon. I mean, you're looking at
Mhm.
POW 14s for each shot. D3
Yeah.
plus. Oh, they changed from D3 plus 1 to D3, but
And
Or
it's the
lost.
only
Yeah.
thing that got touched with that in terms of Khador. Like, they could have also done it on the Man of War suppressors, and I'm glad they didn't. So I think they're still D3 plus 1. So only
Yes.
infantry really got hit with this. And then the rocket launcher replacing Jackhunter with brutal damage, I think just makes it a better overall
yes.
pick
Yeah.
instead of just, hey, it's anti-Jack tech.
Mhm.
Because
Jackhunter was
It's just-
garbage on this. Like this
Yeah.
one infantry was not doing anything relevant to something. So it's such a random niche like ability on there. Brutal damage is so much better in my opinion.
you say it, but like there were decent builds with inner infantry during the beginning of Mark IV where you took double autocannon and you just ripped shit apart just because of rate number of dice thrown, like Orc in
Right.
40k. The more dice you throw, the more likely you are to fucking stick a wound. So
Right.
who knows?
Seems-
Maybe it might come back.
Seems cool. Could be all right. And then Winter Corps officer goes up. Was 2 goes to 3. Replaces stand your ground with combat coordination, then cuts feign death, and the saber goes to POW 11.
Feign Death didn't need to be there. Like it was a cool thing, but who gives a shit about it? It had no way to trigger it itself.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, if you get blast, you hit the dirt. Cool.
Right.
We're still gonna run it. Like, yeah, point cost
So-
3 hurts, but it's still gonna get played.
Combat coordination is for a reroll an attack or damage roll.
Yeah, it's
Better
good.
than stand your ground. I just think there's a whole ton of points for stand your ground. Like there just wasn't many times that like that was what you were using. Most of the time, I was just handing out Pathfinder with her, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, most of the air quotes officers buff units usually fall into that pattern where they only really have one main fucking thing that you're going to use it
Right.
for, and then you have 2 auxiliaries. So it's a good auxiliary. I probably would have liked to have seen fucking mortal wounds or whatever the fuck. The
Grievous
ability to get rid
wounds.
of tough grievous wounds. Yeah, I would have rather have
Yeah.
seen that, but
I like tactician.
yeah, I love tactician and Orgoth.
Maybe I'm
so,
crazy, but like I would have preferred it staying at point cost 2. Like I don't think like this change isn't enough. Like I don't want to lose this point for that. Like I just don't think it is good enough for that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like I think it would
I
have been
could
fine staying at point
see-
2.
Yeah, they could have kept it at 2 points, I think, too. But at 3, I mean, I'm still probably going to run at least 1, just because it does add enough utility for me to go, okay. You know,
Right.
I normally usually
Rerolling
always...
Puppet Master. That is good.
It is
Yeah.
good. Khymaera.
Why is it not Puppet Master though?
I don't know. I didn't even know what was it called?
Unless
Combat
combat coordination
coordination?
is only on a warrior, maybe.
I didn't even know what combat coordination was.
It's basically like Puppet Master, reroll an attack or damage roll.
But I assume that you can be put on a unit still, right? It's basically just
I
putting
don't-
Puppet Master on a unit.
I don't know. I have to see someone that had it. Either way,
The second best army, and actually maybe the first best army. I think I prefer it over Khador. Khymaera changes.
Not according to tournament results. The big 2 boogeymen were fucking Dusk and Orgoth.
Well, we haven't reviewed a single Khador or Khymaera winning lists yet since we started our list review, so we won't talk about that. These are okay changes, I guess. We can run through these. So armor 19, I'm here for it. Makes it a little tougher to die. Gore being 14, claws going to PAL 13. It's cool, I guess. I believe it's the knockdown one, right? Is you get an additional die, I believe. It's trash. They both have trash, is the word I was looking for.
the Gore has the knockdown and he has follow up. So
Yeah, and then Claws has trash as well, though, right? I'm pretty
Claws
sure.
has trash, Gore's has the knock. So you knock down with Gore, follow up.
And then trash with Claws, yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. And then armor, I believe, was 18, so you get 1 extra point of armor. Always take a free point of armor on there. Hydrix goes to speed 6. It lost its speed on its wings. They get down to lower cost of 3 and gain shield. Removes the +2 speed, adds shield guard with the wings. Super random. Like, I'm not sure what the wings give you shield guard for. But they are cheaper now. Toothy Maul comes cost 5. It goes to range 2, which was range 1 before, and then also adds 1 mat, so this gives you like your melee option. I think Toothy Maul's pretty sweet. Like going up speed 6 and going to range 2, like you effectively added 2 inches of speed to the Hydrix for the melee version. Not insignificant. And then the Viner Head becomes range 2 for the bite melee attacks. Also pretty cool. Alright, I guess. Conjurer removes Cavalry, adds resistance fire. I don't know. Maybe this model's okay. I've never played it to begin with.
why did it lose cavalry? It's like the same kind of model.
Yeah, I don't know how you like take away Cavalry. I don't know. That's just weird to me, but I guess it's not.
You've lost your horse status.
Like
Walk on
he
2
is
legs.
Right.
he is a horse, right? He's got 4 legs.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's on one, so like, I don't really know how that's
No,
something that
the
gets removed.
equestrian world has met and has decided
Oh.
that he's no longer a horse. He can only walk on 2 legs now. No more cavalry.
He doesn't have a melee weapon.
No, cavalry was pointless on him anyway.
It was pointless. Yeah.
he's the
Although
spell
Doug would
slinger
tell you
guy.
can't be knocked down.
with Doug. Stop it. So yeah, I don't know. His scheme's irrelevant anyway. He boosts like fire damage rolls and stuff around you. So like I don't know. It is what it is. Fixing the caster Arc 8, that's cool, I guess. Gain stealth, it's pretty cool, I guess. Replaces long shadows, revelations of the outer darkness. Um, it had variation of this before.
Why are we reading any of this? You're only going to be playing Lilith 5 when that bitch comes out. Like, who cares?
I think Shyrus is still the best caster, personally. But I agree,
Who?
like, I'm just playing Lilith 5 in Shyrus. Like, I've never played this caster a day in my life.
I just wanted to make a joke about Lilith 5. Replace long shadows with once per turn when a friendly faction warrior model within 12 inches of this model is destroyed or removed from play by an enemy attack. Can cast a spell without spending essence, focus, or fury. Okay, so it's Aggie, basically. I only really know.
And Arc went to 8. Like, yeah, just wants to spell cast, but I don't know. It seems like super not.
Then they nerf the fucking rack options to 2 and add
Breath Stealer.
Breath Stealer.
Yeah, and then Howling Flames becomes PAL 13. Like,
what was it previously?
It was 12.
12, I think. Yeah, I went up 1, but I don't know. This caster's meh. If you like playing this caster, I apologize, but
gives you something to do when your long shadow goes off.
Continue to play Shyrus.
Rasik the ninja boy, right?
Yeah, Rasik is a ninja boy. I played him in Captain Con last year. He was okay prior to Lilith coming out, and I forgot the other caster's name.
You just didn't play Shyrus was the problem.
I did not play Shyrus. I played most Rasik last time. I think it's a good change. It's just not enough to make him good. The Infinite Strike Repo 3 they had lasts for 1 round. When any model advances in this movement or is placed in melee range of a model's defensive strike, can immediately make an attack against it. In the movement, it goes Repo 3. If it did not fail a charge, it can advance up to 3 inches and it ends. That's okay.
It's really good.
It is really good.
It's friendly faction versus this was probably cohort previously, and if that's the case, like if you do an infantry spam list, that gets really good.
It was friendly faction before. Like you could do it with all your.
They added the Repo 3.
Yeah, Repo 3 is what it gained to it, which I don't know, it's not bad. It's cool. I just don't think it's not good enough to beat out Lilith or Shyrus. Or even the Cav Cowster.
Yeah. Kyrax.
Kyrax, thank you. I couldn't think of the name. Shadowmancer, Def 15. This is huge. No point changes. Like, you just go from Def 13 to Def 15. Like, that's kind of crazy. Too. Yeah, it's Def 15 and it has stealth. This model is dope. It hands out Puppet Master, so you already know I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, you're on board.
To be fair, it is like a 4-point handout Puppet Master bot, so, like, I don't really think too many people were playing a bunch of them. But Def 15 is just a crazy change to me to go from 13 to 15 for really no reason.
Well, it kind of does fit within the theme of the army. Whenever I explain like the different army feels, I always say that Shadowflame's ability is that they have very high defense, so they're very hard to hit, but they have no fucking armor. So once you get a hold of them, they're basically get deleted. So they're just keeping it in the same vein, and they were probably finding out that Scions were just dying too quickly. And they're like, well, fuck it, we'll take them to 15. Who cares?
Yes. I don't think they were because I don't think anyone was playing them. But yes, maybe because they were Def 13 with a small amount of boxes. Character, beast here. So this is kind of decent, I think. Speed 6. It adds Rejuvenating Miasma, which is all within 3 inches of this model. Pretty sure this is the model. Friendly faction models gain Concealment. And then with activating within 3 inches, can immediately remove D3 damage points. And then Ripping Jaw replaces Crit Consume with Life Stealer.
That's gross.
That's just a cool ability.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just instantly handing out Concealment is almost like... In Shyrus' list, I think the cool thing about Pig was that you just ran him, gained the 3 inches for the Concealment, and then your... whatchamacallit is Prowl. So then you just gave everything Stealth that was in there. This essentially does the same thing. Pretty cool. And the healing D3 automatically is also very good.
I think it's gross. Vorpal Maul becomes range 2.
Yep.
And then Transfig is also really good.
Transfig is also really good. Yep.
Bring shit back within 8 inches. Let's go.
Yeah. I think it's cool. This is another one that kind of like Mama Bear, like, I just never really considered this. I think it is cool now. The problem is, I think Wyvern is just still really good. And I don't know that you have room to play anything else. But... I do think it is a cool model, and I think it's good enough to be played now. Spinner went down to 0.2. It's just a filler.
bringing up the Wyvern, what do you guys think about 80mm B/Jacks when we start getting more of them? Because I think, and I was talking to a friend when I first saw the Wyvern forever ago, I think Wyvern is damn near an auto include of 2 of, just
Yeah.
because of how good
Yeah.
it is, how big it is. Are we going to see, like, as more factions get 80mm, that become a systemic problem with those armies? Like, are we going to switch over from the 120 meta to double 80s because of the point cost and how big? They're basically miniature colossals, obviously. I don't know. Just food for thought. Like, are we going to see colossals phase out and everything become double 80 mils?
I'm just shocked that it's like the only one. I mean, everyone got an 80, right? But most people got like solos and stuff like that. Like it getting a beast that's an 80 is kind of insane. And I think it's dope. I love playing it. My problem is just like Skylar here, like it almost makes everything else unplayable because nothing is going to be better than this 19.80 mil beast unless you just
That's what I'm
nerf
getting
it
at.
into the
Like,
ground. So like it kind of sucks because it makes the rest of your beasts irrelevant. But it's also fun playing. I mean, having an 80 mil beast is pretty sweet. So
We didn't
we say
nerf
that.
it.
But they're going to give you a beast tax no matter what, because they took warping winds off this bitch and they put it on something else. So
the Paragon, which we have
gonna-
next. So yep, cut hyper aggressive and shield guard, added sprint and warping winds. It's kind of cool. It's I believe 5 points right now. So I like the fact that before so much was tied to Wyvern with warping winds. This is decent because you can slap it on there and like send it across the board with something else, and you don't have warping winds now like tied to like where your beast needs to go. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool on here. We'll see how relevant it becomes.
Also, we didn't need warping winds on the pig, so
Right.
I'm good with friendly faction.
You're good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good across the board. But yeah, so it goes on to the Paragon now. Paragon's a 5 point solo. Cinderbacks go to arm 16. Fire Blast becomes range 12. I think it goes up a little bit. They're like a spell slinger. So they sling fire around a little 3-man group. I've never played with them. They may be okay. We'll see now. Shadowmancers down to 4 from 5. They removed the damage boxes. They were 3 models, 5 boxes apiece at point cost 5. Kind of crazy. Nope, I don't think anybody else's faction that does this. They stand in the back and like they can give you like magical and that kind of stuff. They just hand out some spells across the board. Like I don't think anyone else has had 5 boxes apiece on these models.
No.
Yeah.
So,
It's essentially your equivalent of a focus spot, right? It removes your fury.
right.
So
Yeah, or hands out magical. It does like the 3 things.
nobody fucking had damage boxes besides them. So
Yeah.
I think that nerf was needed.
I'm here for this because they usually stayed safe, so the boxes were irrelevant, and now they got cheaper. So like, I think it makes them better personally.
Yeah, damn right.
But Wyvern, we talked about it earlier, going from Def 12 to Def 13. Cut warping winds, gained repo 3.
Because that's fair.
Tail strike.
That's a great trade-off.
Tail strike was POW 14, so this is your 3-inch range melee. It goes down from 17 to 14, but you change crit strike to crit knockdown. And then your
It's
bite.
better for you, right? You'd rather have that?
I'd rather have knockdown, like crit smites, whatever. I'd much rather have crit knockdown. Bite becomes POW 15, which I believe is up from 14, or maybe down from 16. It's a 1 point change. And then the Talons is the big one. They become POW 18. So now you have 2 POW 18s on your initials. And then the Flame Breath becomes range 10. I don't know what the Repo 3 is, unless if this is just where the repo is coming from that it says earlier. Like, I don't know what that means, but...
You think, it could be from the head slot.
Yeah,
which,
it might just be tied into that.
But does that matter? Like,
it doesn't matter on
disable...
Beast.
Yeah, I was
like,
going to
you
say,
can't
they
lose
don't
it.
have...
Yeah, I don't know like what the purpose of it being on there is, but the 10 makes sense anyway. It came down from 12, but his animus to not be able to put out fire is also 10 inches, which is typically what you were like putting up and spraying anyway. So makes sense to be at 10, but getting 2 initials at POW 18 is pretty crazy. Going up to Def 13 is pretty crazy. You still have Darkest Night as an option on your spell rack with most casters. Gaining Repo 3 is super nice. I think Wyverns are still just auto-include 2 of. And then you're going to take a Vipex to get Hunter's Mark and your battle group's done. So, I think it kind of sucks for the rest of the battle groups, but those are your Khymaera changes.
There we go. Then we got Orgoth, the Sea Raiders, the secondary big bad boogeyman, according to the stats. The reason why Windstorm got fucking nerfed into the ground.
It's like auto take like almost every matchup. So it's busted.
Yeah. Unless you see like a full melee fucking list and you're just
Right.
like, you know what? No, I don't think I need Windstorm for these guys.
Still think it's auto take.
Still good. 8
Yeah.
inches is
Yeah,
it's
it
not,
is just a big ass bubble still. So
Yeah.
I would
And
rather
it's
it have
still
said cut Windstorm, but whatever.
just get rid of.
It's
No,
just-
I think so the thing about Orgoth is they're in this weird spot where they're not very fast unless you're like redlining a model or something like that.
Mhm.
So they need some form of defense to be able to not just get shot off the table. So they're in this weird place where they have to be able to play under the threat of a ranged gun line and still take some sort of damage but not get blown off the table by it.
It's called
So
+3
that's
armor.
why I think that's why I think the Windstorm was required and is needed, but it's still in that area where it's hard to balance. And I think we'll probably even see more changes to this next year if this isn't enough. Because of Orgoth, if they do get to you, you are going to have a bad time. Like if they
Right.
get in close, you're kind of fucked.
Did you like the older Windstorm, like Mark III Windstorm? I think
I
you.
didn't play.
So you had it was your control area, but it was like the other person's model got affected by it. Like they had to be in your control area.
It's much harder to do. It's basically like E-Cat's feet compared to Shyrus's feet. Like Shyrus is just my model. You're not charging my model that's within X of me. Versus
Right.
E-Cat, like it's her control range. So like you got to get her like #danger close in order for that
From
thing
like
to become relevant.
a logical how this would work in reality type thing if magic was real, I like this version better because your caster is saying within this bubble I'm making gale force winds to make your shit harder to hit. That to me
Right.
makes more sense than you have to be within my bubble to make you shoot worse. You know, it's I
Yeah.
don't know. It still works. Like it'll do what it needs to do. So what we got the Gargleblatt. I love just butchering that thing's name because it's just a fucking put a bunch of marbles in your mouth and try to pronounce it because you'll still be right. Speed 6 and they gave it repairable.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
I love that. I just imagine
sweet.
somebody walking up with like a torque wrench and on the gargoyle
On the
and just getting
gargoyle.
better. Yeah. You just
Speed
get a
6
fucking torque.
is like almost necessary. I feel like because this faction's so slow. Can you redline
needs-
Girlgast?
I believe so. I think maybe unless it
I don't
says
remember if it
Warjack.
was Warjack or cohort, but
I'd have to look it up. But
Yeah.
I would think you could.
yeah.
And
Does
the
redline
champion,
does redline's damage give it a focus? That's the second question.
no, because I believe the thing on monstrosity says the damage source has to come from your opponent. If I remember right, I could be wrong. But if I
Redline's
remember
also Warjack. Rip.
so they cut monstrosities out of it.
Hate it.
Yeah, the
Alright,
champion, speed 5, cut thresher, kind of needed to happen. The keeper and the champion, a lot of people said that they were basically mini archons, and I agree. Those things are fucking gross.
They still are.
And
It
then
doesn't even matter.
they still are. Like they didn't. They barely got touched. Everything here just kind of got tweaked a little bit. Keeper only went down to speed 5. Helix is cut, sidestepped, and soul powered, and added strength of death. Which I think the reason why they did that was so that you didn't have as much soul taxing. Because this version of the army is not supposed to be super soul heavy. It's just a little bit of it.
I like it.
Harass-
Like then you camp the souls for your armor, and you don't have to spend them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a good solo. Like you're still gonna
It
run
is.
it.
Yeah. Is right. What's strength of death?
I don't remember.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
probably just like boosted fucking attacks or damage or something. Just I hit harder.
Okay.
Because that seems very in his wheelhouse, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
It is. You can spend soul tokens to boost. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, that makes him
Makes
even
sense.
better then. If he can fucking spend to boost, that's gross.
Yeah, on a weapon master seems all right.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Harusk is still amazing. Change the text to the following: while in his control range, friendly faction models cannot become knocked down and gain +3 armor. So they cut the boosted tough.
Yeah, they cut the 4
Yeah, we
up
don't need
tough.
4 up tough. No, we don't
Yeah.
need that.
I would like it. Like
Nah.
it was nice.
I would like it.
I would. I mean, it's
You tell you
it
they like
helped.
playing against it. It's one of those things
I mean-
that's so like iffy that like skews potentially an
Right.
entire game. Like this model could die and then not die like 6 times, and like
which
just
was
stay alive, and it's just like
it was
completely skews the
interesting
whole
from a
game.
fucking it does, but whenever it happens, like let's be real, it is very swingy. If it does happen to you, at being on the receiving end of it, it feels very bad.
Yeah.
But being on the side that's actually doing it, it is the greatest fucking feeling ever. Just watching one little double axe demon asshole just be like John Cena-ing them as they can't
Yeah.
fucking get rid of him. It
And it
is
could still
so much fun.
happen. On
Yeah, now it's just harder.
5-up.
yeah, they still get the can't become knocked down. So like, yeah, it can still happen on
It's
5-ups. It just doesn't
it went from
happen
a
as
50%
often.
to a 30% chance. Like
Yeah.
that's the 20% swing. It definitely hurts, but at the
Mhm.
same time, Harusk's already
He
broken.
needed it
You're not
anyway.
taking him
Yeah.
for this feat. You're taking him for the fact that he can just fucking
Again,
force rolls on anything.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
Spend a
he's
focus.
yeah. That I need to hit, reroll that. Which this becomes a lot better with the changes to the siege tasks, which we'll get to in a little bit. But Harusk, I think, is going to make siege tasks with their changes so much better. Kishtar, the Howling Silence, replace open fire with Surefoot, cool. Pandemonium, change the attack of the second sentence to the following. Additionally, while in her control range, friendly faction models gain an additional die on attack and damage rolls. I think, if I remember right, this time last year, they cut it so that she only boosted one of them, and they're basically giving it back to her.
So
They're like,
before it's always been battle group only. Now it's friendly faction models.
oh, everything.
And her original read, if it was a ranged attack, add an additional die, and you dropped whichever one you wanted.
Now it's everything.
Now it's
Wow, they
everything is
pushed
at
her.
but it still signs importance. You're still dropping the lowest, but it's on every model. It makes her such a, I don't know. She's
Mhm.
really cool now. She's not just like take all the guns in your battle group.
Yeah, I'll fucking play her. Like that sounds really
Yeah,
good.
Good.
it's really
Like
cool.
I kind of want to fuck around with that. So
Yep.
that's cool. I loved Kishi anyways. Like she was my fun caster that I would take into people when I wasn't being serious or teaching.
Yeah. I think it makes her good now, not even just the
Yeah.
fun catcher. So
Yeah, that makes her really good. So we got Moloch, point cost 16. Soul Taker becomes a model special rule rather than a rule on the head. They did that with Mama Bear. Possession, change the text of the first sentence to the following. When this model hits an enemy non-leader model with this weapon, take control of the enemy model. So, I mean, a small buff, a change to the head so he doesn't lose shit, and a points nerf. I'm going to be real. I'm not going to take him.
it's rough,
It's
right?
cool, but he still suffers from the same problem he did previously.
Well, but he doesn't have to spend a soul now to Soul Taker.
Yeah, but how does he get the souls? The whole problem with Moloch was you just ignored it and you just kept shit away from it, and then you just tied it up with a light jack that was highly defensive, and he was a 16. Now he's a 16-point useless piece of shit on your field.
My bad. The possession doesn't need to spend a soul, is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's better. But I mean, still, it's not something like Moloch's issue is still Moloch's issue. He's not going to get soul tokens if your opponent fucking goes into him. And then the command point or command card nerf where they're getting rid of grave robbing and fucking power swell and making them, what is it, Black Penny, means it's even harder to get him online. Because previously you could prime him by just giving him a soul token and then go wailing into shit, and now you can't. Right. So even with the changes, they're good changes. Still not enough. He needs aura. If something dies in aura, I gain soul. Not shit I kill. Because that's his problem. He's got to kill it.
I can't remember what that rule is. Soul channeler or something like that.
Yeah. He needs like a 2-inch bubble or 4-inch bubble, probably 2-inch bubble of if shit dies, I take soul.
Or friendly models in his control die or something.
Right.
Yeah. Something to get souls onto him, because right now he doesn't have that, and because of that he's fucking pointless. Like, I'm still not going to take him. I'll just take regular jacks and turn them into gunboats or fucking
16 still a lot.
Coolest model in the game though.
He looks cool as shit. I own 2 of them.
I was talking about the next one. I was talking about
the siege trap.
Model 6.
Best 80 mil in the game.
It might be. It might be.
Vortex called it a year ago.
That was before a lot of other 80s came out, but let's pump the brakes.
The best 80 mil that is not a beast, because that cuts out pig and wyverns.
There we go.
The cut brutality rage fuel. Change the text of the first sentence to the following. When this model is damaged by an enemy attack, and this is the big part, or when this model destroys an enemy model with a normal attack, this model gains a rage token. Huge. It didn't used to do that. Now, whenever you punch like a fucking... Because the way that you used to deal with siege tasks is you would get them engaged with like a 5-man unit of 1 wound mooks and not give a shit,
Yeah.
and just tar pit it down. You wouldn't even attack it. You don't want it gaining rage tokens. You would just push them up base to base and just be like, you're not going anywhere, big boy.
Right.
And the Siege Trask was like, I'm fucked. Now, if you do that and he punches one of those little assholes down, he gets a rage token. He's online. You're in trouble. And
Yeah.
I love that. He's
At least
so
he,
much better.
I'll say at least he can't just buy a million attacks now, but you know, I'm okay. I'll take the generating his own rage tokens over that.
Yeah.
Right.
It fixes the problem that Moloch had, because they had the same fucking problem. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in a sense. Sky Bomber and Sky Raider both got hit with the strafing run.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strike Reavers, point cost 8, rat 6, gains assault, gains bayonet, melee attack with range 1, power 10, and brutal charge. Yeah, I think they went up, but cool. They're still great.
Yeah, the assault was cool.
Yeah, they're so much better. Barragers are amazing still. I mean, I don't care at point 8. I'm still probably going to take a unit anyways to just hold down.
They went
Because
down.
they went down? I thought they went
They were
up. Holy
9.
they went down. I mean, I
Yes.
took a unit anyways just to fucking camp objectives, and
No,
now
they're
they're
8
cheaper.
points is
Yeah,
good.
sure.
Yep. Yep.
Forge Master changes, defensive measure, change the text of the second, third sentence to target friendly faction cohort model, and it gains shield guard for 1 round. Cool. Okay, so they just reined in defensive measures. Exorcism, change the text of the following range 1, faction cohort model, enemy upkeep spells and anime on it expire, gain spell word. Cool.
Yeah.
So
They
they
just made
just,
both of these friendly faction.
yeah, and that's it. Anybody want to go through trolls? I don't know shit about trolls.
It's a Bros. It's a Bros army.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try my best. But
I have faith.
Powder Keg was busted. So now it is the initial, or sorry, the direct hit loses because it was an AoE. So basically, you could like hit something and a bunch of stuff around it would lose their initial attacks. So a little nerf, but I think there's a bunch of buffs in here. So the Abyssal King, I'm being entirely honest. The Electro Lure, I do not know if that is. I'll just tell you. That is a reduction to 10. It was 12. The Seahorse doing Ornery was just retaliatory strike. So Counterblast is better because all the guns are sick. So letting it do counter melee or shot. And then the Powder Cask is 1510. It was 15-8 before. So and critical fire, so it might set you on fire. Storm Rager went down to 2. It was 3. That's sick. Booty Boss going to 2 is kind of wild. He was 3, but he went down to 5 boxes and lost an armor. Fire Quill is like completely changed though. Fortune Hunter and Headshot. Headshot is removed from play if you shoot something. Fortune Hunter is probably something cool. I'm searching it, trying to buy time. Additional die on range attack and damage rolls against characters, so he hunts out characters. Replacing Energizer with Broadside. I'm guessing Broadside is boosting attack rolls with guns, maybe. And then cut brutal damage from his pistol.
Broadside is everything. If I remember right, it's everything in your battle group shoots.
Oh, I mean, okay, that's sick. That's better than what I said. Don't
Because
believe what I said. You're right.
I think that's what it is. If I remember, I think that's what
You're right.
Bart has.
It is what it is. I just looked it up because I said something dumb. But your whole battle group shooting is sick. And then he doesn't have brutal damage. He has black penny on his gun, which is good because like, if he's hunting out characters, like they can't just be hiding in melee. So
You're going back to Tried and True's interview with the devs. They said that they wanted Firequill to feel more like in line with his story elements, and that's why they made him this way, because of the fact that they wanted him to be able to like hunt down characters, because his whole thing is hunting down the guns that he steals for his collection and shit like that. So it feels like it's more of a flavor change, but also a buff in a good way. Like, I don't hate this. I think it's good.
that's cool.
Mhm.
The Bellower head gains rat +1. So like it has rat plus. Oh, sorry, went down from 2 to 1. This is a nerf, but it becomes a spray 8 instead of a spray 6, pow 12. So it gained 2 damage and 2 inches. You get prowl from the Lunker that originally had overtake, so I gained prowl. The
Okay.
gauntlet is cost 4. It probably went up because everyone uses this one. No, it
Yeah,
went
the
down.
sharp.
Just kidding. It went down. So so it's cheaper. Uh, squid squid blaster also went down a point. Spray 12, POW 12. It was a spray 10, POW 14. So that's cool.
Why the
And then
fuck
the
does a crab give you steady? Like, how does that work physically? I want to
oh,
know the
crabs
fucking.
have 8 legs, dude.
No, it's a crab net. It's a net to
I
catch
know.
crabs. It is not a net made of crabs. Get
But
the fuck out of here.
he's got crabs. They're making him steady.
Like, apparently, no. That fucking.
Uh,
What I'm noticing though, so far all of these changes have been all gas, like all no nerfs.
yeah,
I
the only
think
nerf
they thought
was the
trolls
that's
are in a bad spot, and they buffed the
yeah.
shit out of them.
Only nerf was powder keg, but it was kind of like their busted trick, to be fair.
Gotcha.
Um okay, the first mate, um his spray was 12 6. Oh, it's an AoE now instead of a spray, which is cool. But no, it was already an AoE. How
So
it's
it
not.
was
Sorry,
an
it's a
AoE.
spray instead of an AoE.
Yeah.
Got it. So spray 6, POW 12. Great old one going from 18 to 16.
And more nerfed on the points cost to characters that nobody was taking.
Yep.
So
The crew quartermasters, everyone just like stacked these on their units, so they just made it where this is a nerf. The quartermaster doesn't buff itself.
hmm.
Um, Maga Bauza, I think was speed 4, so we love the change. Also, it's a really cool model. Battle Brig is getting. We haven't talked about this change yet, but the propelled change is no longer a propelled 12 means you move 12 inches total. Now it has speed 7 and repo 5, so you don't have these insane threat ranges. Um, but they still
Insane
can't.
safe threat ranges, because the problem with these fucking balloons was they could come in, shoot you, and then get the fuck out of dodge. And now it's like they can still kind of do it. They can come in and shoot you, but they can only repo 5, which
Only
is
repo five's not getting the fuck out of dodge. That's just getting
So,
like the heck out of
not
dodge.
compared
or-
to moving 6 and then moving another 6 and then repoing 3 because of a fucking command card. Like,
the the real busted thing though was like just having 12 inches on these things was wild. Like if you really just needed the 12, like
Yeah.
I
Plus
think
the range of the gun still. It was the overall threat
exactly.
range that was crazy to me. I think they still come in, hit, and then get out of dodge pretty well. It was the fact that you could move 12 and then had range X whatever on your gun that like you just threatened anything.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they're as toxic as they used to be. Yes, they still will get out of a lot of situations because of repo 5, but they're not. They're still manageable to get to. That's still within charging distance versus fucking 9 inches away. Depending
Right.
on how
Yeah.
they fucking bank the balloon.
So
They hit the fucking nitrous, drift a little bit, and they're in the other side of the goddamn map.
the the other
Small one.
change is sky hook to sky ladder. Sky hook was when it ends its normal movement, you can move something 2 inches. Sky ladder is
That's where you pick up shit
I
around
think
you.
it's only
right?
a solo can move
Yeah. You
now.
pick it up
And
and can move it within like 2 inches or something.
yeah, I think it just
Okay.
does it so it's a solo instead of a anything. I think that's the change. Skyhook was non-leader, and the other one's solo. Dirge, same thing. Propelled 10, changed to speed 7. Repo 3.
Repo 3.
Yeah. The pig shocker's getting disruption instead of crit disruption seems kind
That's
of
gross.
So
They did
good.
not
kind of sick.
need to get.
It was
They
really
needed
good.
that. They only needed that. So no.
No.
I don't know, man. Critical disruption was okay. But not now, like regular disruption. I could see you just taking a list called "fuck warjacks" and just
Yeah.
have 4 units of pig
Whoa,
shockers.
we don't want to say that. Warjacks? Come
Not you guys, but the actual models. But
They're also CRA, so they are 100%
gonna hit
disrupting
you.
what they hit.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're really good.
Reef Troll. I think this model had a ton of problems. I don't know if this fixes it or not.
Nobody took it, so we'll see.
But unyielding, changing to sidestep, and the fact that the left and right arm both have good weapon options now. So replacing elusive with indomitable. I'll be honest, I don't know what indomitable does top of my head. The ship gun is PAL 1318.
13-8.
13.8. Can you imagine if it was 18? It was like 13. That's
13-18.
up from
Sheesh.
13.7, so it's better AoE.
Sure.
The chain shot gains chain weapon, makes sense. Cutlass, PAL 14, cut brutal charge, add duelist.
Okay.
Is 14 a buff? It is. But you do lose brutal charge, but you'd rather have multiple PAL 14s over a PAL 15 on the charge. And then boarding axe goes from crit amp to cleave, which is great with sidestep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see it be better because I know it's not a good model right now. And I wish I could tell you what Indomitable did, but I'm struggling to find it. And then what was the other one? What's Duelist?
No idea.
Off the top of my head, I don't
I
remember.
guess I have a guess, but I think I'm going to be wrong. I would have been right. Oh, okay. It's +2 def against melee attack rolls. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, you get in
Fucking
def
a lot
14
of
against
pirates have that.
melee. That's good. I like that. I maybe it's playable. Surgeon down to 2. Got inflict pain instead of anatomical precision. I assume that's just deal 1 to a
I think it
cohort.
lost both.
Oh, it lost them. My
Yeah.
bad. I thought it changed
Lost
it.
both.
Okay, never mind. Add shark bait. When a friendly faction model makes tough roll 1, 2, 3, or 4, it can advance up to 3 and make an attack. That's sick. So your stuff doesn't tough. You step up and hit somebody.
That's weird.
It's interesting.
Interesting, I guess.
Yeah, War Chief, resistant fire. Cool. I
Lovely.
don't know. I have the full line, so I'm here for the buffs.
Oh, one
like the
basic
plays.
attack. It
Oh,
could
that's
be
right.
ranged, I
You did
guess.
pick them up recently.
Yeah, one base
So
attack, you could walk up and shoot. So
Yeah.
you're right.
I was just thinking like a 2-point surgeon model. Like, how close is this model going to be to something that's making a tough roll that can then walk up and attack? But I wasn't.
Most
I
of
was
the time,
just
you
thinking like
stick these
melee.
guys with units. Yeah.
I mean, you imagine though, you like, hold on, before I say something really dumb.
Too late.
Yep, we're gonna not say it. Okay, you imagine you put them next to the pig shockers and you kill one and it walks up
Right.
and now you're disrupted.
Yeah,
Again.
for sure. That's why I was saying like I was thinking like advance 3 inches and make a melee attack, and like I just don't see
Yeah.
how this thing's in range for that.
Like
But,
that's wild.
range
You
is
put
way
them
different.
within
Yeah.
5 of the shockers. Like you're not killing shockers with your warjack,
Yeah.
right?
But you're being annoying with them.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah. So with our
Resistance fire on the
mercenaries-
chief. That's it. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad,
nothing
Dylan.
crazy. So you're good. We're going into mercenaries. So Alexa, Queen of the Damned, I think she went down in points,
Mm-hmm.
which she needed to. She got Succor, which if I remember right, Succor is where she can like glance the wounds off to infantry that are around her, which is cool.
That's kind of cool.
Makes her live better
It
and
is
also
sack
fuels.
time,
Yeah, it lets her fuel what she wants to do, which is bringing shit back anyway. So she
That's
becomes.
pretty
I
cool.
think she becomes a lot more powerful, like really powerful,
She's
and
playable
especially
in
an
Storm
infantry
Legion.
list.
Playable in
Yeah,
Storm
she's
Legion.
same thing with Khador. Like I think she can be played in Khador, right? I could
She
see running her with like an infantry list. Just
Yeah,
throw
because you
her
can
in
bring
there.
back your mediums. Like that's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she could bring back the big ones, but if you just want to spam a bunch of fucking soldiers, you can. Mr. Garrity got Gatewalker, which if I remember his other forms had in the past, especially for
2
the
at least
Infernals.
had it. I
Yeah.
know 2 had it.
Yeah, I think 3 had it too. So they're just keeping him in line with what he had.
Mm-hmm.
Boom Howler, Arm 17, Cut Unyielding and Relentless Charge, added Shouted Out. I think this is where he can like shout range shit out of this guy. Range 6, target friendly model/unit. If it's in range, it gains Force Barrier for 1 round, +2 def against ranged attack rolls. Yeah, he's just literally screaming at bullets.
And resist blast.
Yeah,
This
and
blast
resistance
is
blast.
good for
That's
a unit.
interesting.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that this man is screaming at bullets and winning.
It's kind of funny.
Kruger got a huge point increase. Damage box is 10, arm 17. They cut Burning Blight, and Howling Flames becomes POW 13. I think Kruger got, punished for his sins. He's still playable.
Yeah, armor 17 and like 2 boxes and 2 armor. Like
And he's also def.
he might be
15?
better. He is Def 15
Yeah, he's also Def 15, which is not
with
nothing.
Ashen Veil.
You're almost committing almost a tenth of your army to him.
7
though.
points
Like,
is a lot.
yeah, he's still probably going to get played because he's as close to an Archon as fucking most of his armies can take, anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't see him not getting played. Just like how Big Pig was 20, but people still took him because he was just that good, and I think Kruger's still just that good. Sky Bomber, all versions, because the Bomber and the Raider, fun fact, if you didn't know this, and it's your first time hearing it, they work differently depending on which army that they're in. So each of the different armies have different Sky Bomber abilities. Like the Troll one is really good in melee. The Khador one literally explodes when it dies. The Orgoth one rerolls shit.
Orgoth
So
one's
depending on
busted.
yeah. All of them are unique in their own special way. So its point cost is 13, its speed is 7 because it's got the propelled change, gains repo 5, heavy fire breather becomes range 10. It needed to be pulled in a little bit.
Yeah.
And the
The
Sky
point
Raider,
reduction though is sick, right? Like 15 down
yeah.
to 13.
Yeah, same thing with the Raider. Like taking it down to 11 might make it playable. I'm not super sure. I'm still not a big fan of the Raider. But still the same thing. Point cost 11, speed 7, change propelled, gains repo 5. Heavy gun becomes range 10. So the difference though between the bomber and the raider is if you remember the trolls that we just looked at, their battle brig, which does the same thing that the raider does,
Mm-hmm.
has repo 5, but their other balloon is their equivalent of the bomber. It only had repo 3.
Mm.
So with the sky bomber, they're like, nah, you still get to keep your repo 5. They didn't
Yeah.
punish it as much, even though it's your gun platform version. Warbore, we all saw this coming. Rat 6, volley cannon weapon becomes range 10, rate of fire 1, and forced reload 1.
She's
What's
guaranteed 4
forced
shots now.
reload?
Or force it to be able to
Oh,
shoot again.
force. Got it. Okay. I was like, why is it called force reload? But because it's not reload, right?
Yeah, you're
Sure.
forcing it to reload it. So,
This is like,
still,
it's almost like Shaun and I were talking. Like it's almost a buff. It's not. It's not. It's a nerf. But
It's the
Like,
consistency
enough
piece, though.
of a
Like, you're
nerf.
guaranteed 4 shots from this thing
Right.
now, which is pretty freaking good.
You are, but at the same time, you're not gaining as quality of shots. And what I mean
Sure.
by that is the forced reload makes it so that for you to get your 4 shots, you have to spend two fury.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you're still
Previously, you
getting
didn't have to
4
do that.
shots, 3 of them boosted. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it is good, but it's still not the same quality. Now, I'm not saying
I-
it's bad. I still think it's still good. It's still going to do what it needs to do. They didn't touch the caster. They didn't touch the interactions.
Mhm.
He's still
Right.
going to be a pain in the ass to have to get off the table. Like,
I just
he's
think you
still a
Range 10
know
threat.
is
what you
nice
get
too.
now. It went down, right? It was 12 before?
Yeah, 12 is just
Yeah.
so far.
But 12 was. He's in a good place, I think. I still think he's very powerful. I think we're still going to see a lot of him. I don't think he's hyper pushed like he was previously. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that when we get the next one, which I was going to say, but now I don't want to because that was part of the leak. I hope that he doesn't come out super pushed, and we don't see a pattern of this where every year we get an
Yeah.
anniversary model and it's so broken you have to buy it and the whole meta revolves around it.
Right.
So we'll see how he comes out, but yeah, we just need to keep an eye on that to make sure it doesn't keep happening. And then the Grimkin, who's not a Grimkin and cannot be played in Grimkin, got Battle Wizard.
That model's randomly in Khymaera.
Literally says on the rule card, this model is a Grimkin model. Cannot be fucking played in
Yeah.
Grimkin. I love it
kinda
so much.
funny.
I have one on my shelf. I'm angry at him. I love the
Angry
sculpt.
at
It's
it.
gorgeous. Fuck that. Okay. Armies of Legends Circle. Anybody want to go into that one?
So, yeah, I don't know if anyone's going to hate us out here. I'm skipping the Army of Legends. I'm only here for Mark IV stuff. If you want to talk about Armies of Legend, you could certainly do that at one point if you want, but I have no desire to go through the Legends
I
armies
would say
changes.
the big one to go through that I want to point out is Infernals got dick punched. They didn't get like super nerfed because Infernals are still a meta threat. Like let's be
Mhm.
real. Infernals, Grimkins also got fucking hit. Grimkins hit in the dumbest way ever. The Milady Man no longer has Desperate Pace. They've replaced it with the fucking Dirge of Mist, which is basically a
Yeah.
5-inch concealment. Beyond that, everything else is just like small changes, but getting rid of Desperate Pace really hurts that army. So
That
Grimkin,
happened to Storm Legion too early on. Like I guess they don't. which I don't know. Like it's coming. Like I don't understand getting rid of that. But
They didn't need to do that for fucking Grimkin, I don't think, because that was their one trick. One of their best tricks was fucking turning those little hobby horses into ICBM missiles and shooting them down the field. Now you can't do that. So now Grimkin, to me, I'm gonna have to play with other battle styles, I guess, because that was the way that I used to play them, and it's like they're basically gone. Infernals, Aggie got better a little bit. Still not going to play it. Still not good enough.
right.
Regna got fucking hit down to control 8 from control 10, which matters because her version of Windstorm that she has, or whatever the fuck it
Or
is,
decel. She
was
has decel.
she has decel, was based upon her control range. So they nerfed it down to 8, which is the same thing that they did for Windstorm. And then the Guardian got hit, which it's now +2 armor against melee attacks only versus everything. So is that enough to knock them out of a meta threat?
Nah. We're bringing the Guardian, Doug.
We're bringing the Guardian.
But maybe you're not auto-taking Guardian to Tormentors. Like, maybe we're back to 4 Tormentors.
I don't know. Guardian just hits so fucking hard.
It hits hard.
It is,
and it has a really good gun. Like you can't just sit there and not do anything about it because it's going to shoot this huge AoE gun once a turn as it crawls up the board.
If it crawls up the board, like you can still make that thing pretty fucking fast. You can run it. You can auxiliary attack it with their fucking little solo douchers. I forget the name.
Can they all do it if you bring 3?
Well, I think it can only be impacted by 1 per turn. Isn't that in the rules?
It might.
Yeah.
In the thing. So yeah, you can only really make it shoot once extra per turn. If you could make it shoot like 3 times before it activates, that'd be fucking gross.
Yeah, that would be insane.
But yeah,
yes, only once per turn. You're right.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Infernals is they used to be able to spread out a little bit more. Now they're going to have to play more condensed in the center, and they definitely lost some survivability because their horrors were already kind of weak in the HP/armor department. Yeah, because you could summon them in. They had lower stat lines, and now they're even easier to kill. So, oof. I mean, I'm going to play them at Captain Con, and I'll tell you, you'll definitely hear me bitch if they're worse or not. And then my pet army Crucible Guard got nothing but buffs, so I'm happy about that. But I'm just sad Grimkin got hit.
So what do you guys feel about the changes in general? I think we're at 1 hour and 40 minutes, so I think we recap here a little bit and we cut it off and maybe do another video on just like the command cards by themselves or something in one, but we're at 1 hour 40, so I think we cut it off here. But what do you guys think in general about the changes? Good, bad, ugly?
Nothing makes me outright just violently angry except for the Khador fucking slam change, the slam gun change.
Yeah, they could have 2 different guns, right? But the Maelstrom has the same guns that the Striker does. So it's like I don't know what the obsession is with that, but
it's rules homogenization. Keep the same type of weapon on different dudes and make it the exact same stat, which I understand, but still, I made the joke that the fucking the Great Bear died because of the Macedon sins, but it's pretty on the nose when it comes to what happened there.
But I think that the changes were pretty solid overall. I'd like to see a second mid-year update.
Yeah, I agree. I think the waiting to just once a year is not the best. And I think that it puts too much eggs into it being massive. Like, so this is the biggest change we've seen from them, obviously, from a balance update standpoint. But, like, as a once a year thing, like, I don't know that it's big enough, to be honest. Like, considering you only do this one time a year, like, there's some armies that had 3 models very minimally changed. Like, that's it. And that's all that's going to happen for an entire year for your army. Like, so, I would like to see them more.
Or hot question. For them to do a mid-year change, do you believe that they should keep the current method in which they balance models, aka they have a shadowy cabal of testers that know all the rules before they come out, that are the ones doing it, or should they open it up, kind of like how you have public test realms in other games? Like you could go into the App Store and download the test version app and play with the test version rules, and this way the public at large could provide feedback and maybe make the testers that you currently have the ones that deal with that. Like, I think the system, essentially what I'm getting at, do you think it should be overhauled to allow public access so that they could do that versus only doing it once a year because of the limited manpower?
So that was the original way they did it. Well, I can't remember what those are called. Remember they would like have 2 or 3 weeks and they'd focus on a faction. And I think the public were kind of a problem. But I don't know. Is there like a dead time of the year we can do it where there's not big events around it? So like you don't feel like people played this for 6 months and know everything. Also, does that matter for me? I don't know. I'm not good enough either way. But I don't hate the idea of it, but
I just think it could happen every 6 months instead of every year, and I think like it would make smaller changes easier to do. Like some of the just like plus death, plus speed, plus like literally changes like this is kind of like whatever. Like when you're trying to rewrite something or completely change something, like that has severe impacts. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more the reason why they're not doing it that way is based on mainly a manpower issue. Because if you're going to have a team of dedicated testers and you want them testing the new version instead of playing their events, and they've got a 6 month time frame to come out with a patch while they're out doing conventions, because they're not in house, right? They're all players like us.
Right.
Yep.
So you're
AdWord.
asking these, yeah. Add us to the thing. I swear I won't leak. Well, underwhelming upkeep, and then of course warjacks. But yeah, I think it's more of a manpower issue because they're not getting paid. I don't know. They might be getting paid. I don't know the way that their system works, but it is what it is. I think they would need to increase accessibility and manpower to be able to do that.
Don't disagree.
And I'm for that. Yeah. I like a lot of the changes though. Like trolls definitely feel like they're getting a glow up. Khymaera, don't feel like they got punched.
I'd hate like Dusk though to end up being like, wow, our faction sucks now. I don't know that that's going to be true. I don't think it's true. But you know.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, who do you vote as your winner and loser of the balance change? And I think we're all going to say Dusk got fucking obliterated.
Yeah, I think Storm Legion's the big winner. To be entirely honest.
I mean, look at your changes. Like your entire faction got changed.
Yeah, I think Storm Legion's big.
I think Trolls got a lot of love.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if the Trolls ones are really good.
I was telling Brandon before we got on here, obviously like Khador and Khymaera, the two armies they played, like I felt like Khymaera was better than Khador before this, and like I feel like Khymaera got buffs while Khador took nerfs. Like I feel like the gap between Khymaera and Khador got bigger, not smaller.
The thing is they took nerfs, but I think the nerfs that they were taking besides the fucking slam cannon were needed. Mastodon having superiority was just fucking gross, and beyond that, nothing else really got nerfed besides the cannon. Everything else kind of got brought in line. The controller was a useless fucking model before. It's not as useless. It's still bad.
I think Jack Marshall's cool.
Jack Marshall's cool. At least it makes like I think the model is like has its own playability now. At least like it was just completely useless before. So like, at least like, I think this kind of cool. At least am I playing it? Probably not. But like, could you play it and have like a cool game or a fun game, or whatever? Sure. I think that's fine.
Totally,
I think some of these other changes are
okay. You just, move bonfires around, guys. Don't worry about stealth. My controller's just going to pick up this bonfire and just bring it to you.
Why you can't pick a jack up and move it? I don't know. I
don't know. So I get Mastodon was a problem, and Mastodon was going to need changes. It just sucks that, like, even when Mastodon was as good as it was, Khador wasn't winning anything. And now you've brought Mastodon down to, like, probably a reasonable level. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't too good, but, like, nothing... We weren't winning when it was too good, and now it's down to an okay level? Like, how are you winning now?
I think you gotta hope
Mama Bear's 2-point cost gets us there?
It might be all the threat reductions and stuff, though. Like, maybe they are...
Yeah, but your threat reduction went down, too. Like,
it did.
You lost 3 inches everything as well. Like,
we'll have to see.
So the thing with Khador, and I think this is more of a systemic issue with the game, is whenever something does come out, like fresh, and if it has some form of power behind it, it does really good. So look at when the Mastodon first came out. Khador was topping. It was stealing tournaments and games. It was an actual threat. But the longer that model comes out, gives players more time to solve the problem, and once they've solved the problem, that thing goes away from being tough, and that's just a
Yeah.
balancing issue with the
Right.
game. So
This is
it's
so
one of those
easy to.
things of once you solve how to kill it.
It's so easy to kill. I was gonna say is the problem. It's like Arm 20, right?
Yeah.
I tell you, I think the biggest buff is anything that has tough in the game. Like the fact that you lost the grievous wounds
Card.
card
That's
is
why
like a major deal because like
So
if you
trolls
had that
as a
before,
faction.
That's
yeah,
why
like,
I
that's
think
just a
Trolls
massive
got a huge
buff.
blow up.
Yeah.
Like did some stuff
there's
get
no
it?
longer-
Sure, but am I playing Wrecking Crew to have the grievous wounds option in a list? Like probably not. So like I just don't have grievous wounds. Period. Now. So like,
why aren't you playing Wrecking Crew? You should always have at least one Wrecking Crew. They're little fucking shredders. I love those guys.
I think they're good too. Sean's a big hater.
I think it's too slow, but I may be underestimating the like 50 mil base being able to like place and add that threat range, but it still doesn't extend your initial threat range. Like your one model has to get into range first, which is 8 inches. Like congratulations, everything in the game out threatens you.
Yeah,
Like-
it's definitely an interesting. Khador's in a weird spot, and the thing is the way that Khador played previously was it would speed itself up with little tricks. So like the Slam Bear Cannon, or you could take the Bison and put that ability on it that every time it kills something with a ranged attack, it gets to move 2 inches. Swift Hunter. You could also do that with suppressors. So the officer could put that on both of those, and that was your speed tech. That's how you got yourself up the board faster. And a lot of that feels like, well, with the bear specifically, that's gone. But like the
Right.
other ones, they can at least still do it. So it's definitely an interesting area for where it'll be. But I think back to the Mastodon change and everything is something comes out, it's really good, it gets solved on how to kill it, and then from there, it's no longer good anymore. I mean, how many examples did we do going through it where I would say, hey, you just jam this into a siege trask and it's pointless. Hey, just don't fucking let Moloch kill anything and it's useless. Tie it up with a jack. And it's people solving how to deal with the threats. And that's without rewiring the whole damn thing or the whole damn army, I don't think that's something you can get around. So Khador might not be an army that will top, like be the best of the best. It just doesn't have the power level until something new comes out, like Old Umbre.
Yeah. It's busted in team tournament though.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's okay.
A lot of
Lilith
things are
5's out
busted, like if
anyway,
used
so
properly.
That's
I'm
true.
trading my
Lilith's
Khador
coming.
to Brandon anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, we joked about trading Orgoth for Khador.
What, you two are swapping?
Yeah. I don't know if I can get rid of the siege trask now, dude. I don't know.
Siege Stress lit.
Yeah, he was one of probably the best changes, I think. I have my 2 Siege Trask. I put
It
him in
is.
Captain Con last year, and I love the new change to the Siege
Eh,
Trask.
I think that
actually,
model is just too cool to not make it relevant. Like,
Yeah.
it needs to be a 2 of auto include or they're fucking up Orgoth. Like, that model's too cool. Get it on the board.
Yeah, and instead of 2 balloons, like I know
Right,
that list
yeah.
was gross
Yeah.
with Ishtar, but fuck that. No, I want 2 big, angry, scary monsters. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the whole reason I ran Orgoth last year was because of the fact that I wanted cool fucking models on the table. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Can't even get balloons.
True.
If you need to borrow them, I have 2 of each
I got to.
because I'm fucking crazy.
I have one of each, but I will be buying the new sculpt of each one.
All right,
Because they
boys.
friggin' fall over, dude.
We're at a minute 53 seconds. We're at an hour and
We're almost
53 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
Any last
Well,
words?
No, it was fun. Hopefully, we can do this again sometime.
Yes, look
Yeah, man.
forward to it. For you that are in the area, Dylan, want to shout out your, if you're still doing it. If not, I'll cut this out of the podcast. January 26th. Is that right?
Yeah, it's if you're in the Orlando area at Layton Games on January 26th, we are having a Steamroller event, which it looks like unless they change the date for that as well, it looks like it's going to be. I'm literally going through Discord when OBS has all my Discord stuff, so that's a bad call.
It's old.
Yeah, it'll
Steamroller, right?
probably be 2024 most likely, unless they change when the packet comes out. So we'll see about that.
So the packet right
They-
now comes out soon.
No, the
It,
Steam.
com-
Did
it comes
they?
out on the Wednesday before Captain Con.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about Steamroller.
Yeah, the date
Oh, you're
as
right.
is
I get
is the
confused.
If
29th.
they
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
dropped it on the 15th, that'd be sick.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be great.
It's possible.
And if that is, then yeah, we'll run that one. But yeah, we're it's $20 entry fee. It's at Layton Games, which is off of I-4 in the Altamont Springs area. There is just join the Discord, the Florida Warmachine Discord. You can hit me up in the comments or whatever, and I'll link it. I'll probably just put it in the video description.
Dope.
So,
Brosh, you got anything?
no, sorry about the Armies of Legend, but I don't know a lot about that stuff, and there's a bunch of it.
There is a bunch of it. All right,
So,
boys. It was fun as always.
I went over the shit I knew.
It was your 2025 balance update. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you were still out there, we will catch you next time. Later.